Yellow. All right, we are going to get into some order of operations. I have two equations here or expressions that we are going to evaluate. But before we get to them, I think we just need to do a quick review of the order of operations and our friendly acronym that we all know as BEDMAS. Or some people like to use the word PEMDAS, but it all kind of relates to the same thing. That's a good way to understand the order of operations. So over here, as you can see, I kind of wrote down the acronym BEDMAS, and it's pretty much just states the order of operations, what you have to do first, of course. So the B stands for brackets. I'll write that down here. Brackets, BA brackets. The E stands for exponents, so the next thing you want to do in your expression is solve for the exponents. And then the D stands for, you got it, division. M stands for multiplication. Now these two here, though, kind of are at the same level as far as the order of operations go. It's whatever comes first. You always start from the left side of your expression, and if it's division or multiplications, whatever comes first, you can do either or. They're at the same level. The A stands for addition, and S stands for subtraction. And these two, the same thing with division and multiplication. It's whatever comes first as you start from the left side. They're at the same level of your order of operations. So this is the order. So if we were to go to our first equation here, we have -2 plus 3 bracket 5 to the exponent of 2 minus 30 bracket. So we have a bracket here to solve, and according to our acronym BEDMAS, we have to solve the brackets first. Now I should clarify that this bracket here, there's no operation inside. So there's nothing to do in there. It's just there because it's isolating this -2, so people don't subtract it for any, or people don't think of it as a subtraction sign. It's a -2. So let's solve for the brackets first. So I'm going to rewrite this because remember, you have to show all your steps. Don't ever forget, show all your steps. So I'm just going to write this down first. I'm not going to solve this yet. I'm going to solve what's in the brackets. So in my brackets, I have two operations to do. I have an exponent and subtraction. According to BEDMAS, it's exponents first. So BEDMAS, you follow BEDMAS inside the brackets as well. So the exponent first, so 5 squared is the same thing as saying 5 times 5, which is 25. So 25 minus 30 bracket. So now I still have to solve the bracket. I have to do my subtraction next. So I rewrite this again, -2 plus 3. Now, we are subtracting a greater number, so there's going to be some negative integers involved here. Now, if you remember the rules for subtracting integers, you add the opposite. So I'm going to rewrite that, so it's 25 plus -30. So I change that to an addition question. This 30 becomes a negative. And I'll use square brackets because I'm using rounded brackets to isolate this integer. So I'll use the square brackets to continue with the actual bracket that I'm using for the operation. So now I can now add these integers. So -2 plus 3. And if I add these, going by the rules, my 30 is a greater value, the actual number, I mean, the numeral. So my sign in my answer is going to be a negative, and then I subtract them because of 0 pairs. So 30 minus 25 is 5. And if you need to review these rules, check out the other videos on adding, subtracting integers. So now I got two operations left. I have adding, and a number beside a bracket actually means multiplying, even though there's no multiplying sign there. So, according to BEDMAS again, I have to multiply before I add. So negative 2 plus 3 times 5 is 15, but we're multiplying different signs. So the rule is when you multiply different signs, your answer is negative, and 5 times 3 is 15. So now I have negative 2 plus negative 15. I'm adding the same sign, so there's no zero pairs. You just simply put them together. So 15 and 2 together is 17. So my final answer is negative 17. And that's that. All right, now the second question that we have here is a little bit more NES extensive. We got a couple brackets to solve here with a couple exponents, one inside the bracket and one on the outside of the bracket. But it's no problem, no worries. So let's start on the left side. We have two brackets, but this bracket is on the left side, so we'll do that first. And on the inside of the bracket, we do have an exponent here. So according to BEDMAS, again, we do the exponents before we subtract. So 2 to the power of 3 is the same thing as saying 2 times 2 times 2, which equals 2 times 2 is 4. Then you multiply another 2, it gives you 8. So this here is 8. So 8 minus 3 bracket. And I'll rewrite this down because I like to do everything in steps. Okay, I might as well just continue on and solve this bracket here. 8 minus 3 is 5 minus bracket 10 divided by negative 2. That's a 2. And that is cubed, or to the power of 3. So now let's solve inside the bracket. It's only one operation actually. It's 10 divided by negative 2. So 5 minus 10 divided by negative 2. Again, we're dividing integers, different signs, which would mean that your answer is going to be negative. And 10 divided by 2 is 5. So we're left with negative 5 to the power of 3. Now, negative 5 to the power of 3, that's our next thing we have to do because exponents come before subtraction. That's the same thing as saying, so negative 5 to the power of 3 is the same thing as saying negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5. Separate that. And if we were to do that, negative 5 times negative 5, it actually equals positive 25 because you're multiplying the same sign, so it becomes positive, times another negative 5, and that will give you a total of negative 125. Negative times a positive equals a negative. So we're left with now 5 minus negative 125. All right, the last operation, you are subtracting integers again. So what do? We add the opposite. So we change it to an addition question. So 5 add, and because we are changing this to an addition sign, you do the opposite. You add the opposite. This becomes 125. That's spooky. So 5 plus 125, 130. There you go. Done like NES dinner. And that's order of operations. Ooh, yeah.